Hey there, Chiefs fans. Harrison Graham here on the Chiefs Report. Follow me on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. More Chiefs and NFL news, rumors, updates over there. Keep up with the Chiefs all offseason long on this channel, but also on my Twitter at HGrahamNFL. Today's show, 5 players the Chiefs could target in the first round of the NFL draft. So let's go ahead and kick things off with Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver out of Florida. Versatile player, can play slot, can play outside, and let's be honest, he fits the mold of what Chiefs receivers are. Electric players in space, get him the ball, and he can make a lot of different things happen. Now, there are questions at wide receiver for Kansas City after Tyreek Hill, after Mecole Hardman, because Sammy Watkins is a free agent, as you guys know. DeMarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle's an exclusive rights free agent. We'll see if he is back. Kadarius Toney could be an intriguing player at number 31 overall to bring on board. Really good year this year for the Florida Gators. In just 11 games, almost 1,000 yards on 70 catches, 10 touchdowns. Really started to put it all together after flashing through his first couple of seasons on campus. This past year, he was an electric player for this Gators offense. And like I said, he is a electric speed type of player, which is what Kansas City is accustomed to having at the wide receiver position. Now, there are some players at receiver outside of Toney that could be an option in round 1. Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Is he there at 31? Maybe, maybe not. Same with Terrace Marshall Jr. out of LSU. Those guys could go as high as the early 20s. They could fall to the second round. We'll just have to wait and see. Rondale Moore, I view more as an early mid-second round guy, but he's another speedy electric type of player. Maybe at 31, he could be an option for Kansas City. Who will be the Chiefs' number 2 wideout in 2021? Will it be Mecole Hardman? Will they bring back Sammy Watkins? Will they draft someone like Kadarius Toney or perhaps sign somebody? I want to hear it from you guys. Who will be the Chiefs' wide receiver 2 this upcoming season? Let's go to the big uglies, the offensive line. Creed Humphrey, the center out of Oklahoma, the top center prospect this year. Austin Reiter and Daniel Kilgore are both set to be free agents, and the Chiefs are going to have limited cap space to work with, so drafting a center could very much be an option in round 1. And as we've discussed in recent weeks, especially since the Super Bowl, the Chiefs have some offensive line question marks that need to be addressed this offseason, especially at tackle, but also at center. Obviously at tackle, Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz both have injury concerns moving forward. Both could be cap cut candidates if Kansas City's looking to save some money against the salary cap. Austin Reiter, Daniel Kilgore, they're both set for free agency, so I think Kansas City has to consider a guy like Creed Humphrey at 31 if he is sitting there, because if he is, you've got your center for the next 5, maybe even longer years in Kansas City. 37 career starts, part of an excellent offensive line at Oklahoma as they continue to plug out offensive linemen. I'm intrigued in round 1. Maybe it's a bit rich, but it's a position of need for the Kansas City Chiefs. Should the Chiefs draft a center? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think it's an option. I want to hear it from you guys. Y for yes or N for no. Get subscribed to the Chiefs Report because we're putting up videos almost every single day around the draft, free agency, rumors, news. More subscribers equals more videos for you guys. So hit that big red button, share the link with a friend. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Like I said, more draft coverage, including my recent Chiefs mock draft. You guys can go check that out. After you subscribe, just go to the videos tab and you will see it right there. My full 7-round Chiefs mock draft. Tons of videos coming your way around free agency, the draft, and a whole lot more. More news and rumors, of course. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Go ahead and hit that big red button. Okay, another offensive lineman. How about Samuel Cosmi, the tackle out of Texas? Like the versatility here. Played some left tackle, played some right tackle, over 35 career starts in Austin. 6'7", 300, has some room to grow. He could put on 15 or 20 pounds. Could certainly beef up a little bit there, but he's got the frame to be a really good tackle at the next level. It's a deep tackle class. He's a mid-late first-round guy, maybe early second round. Just has to depend. It'll just depend on how some of the workouts, the interviews, where some of the other guys go, those type of things as well. And like I mentioned with Schwartz and Fisher, those are question marks moving forward, not just for next year, but long-term as well. Major injury concerns, especially with Eric Fisher coming off the torn Achilles. Now, there's going to be a lot of offensive linemen that go in the first couple of rounds of this year's draft. I think some other players in this range could include Elijah Vera-Tucker. Maybe he goes a little higher. We'll see. Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan, Liam Eichenberg, and then Wyatt Davis, an interior offensive lineman, if the Chiefs prefer to go guard, depending on how they feel about the tackle position. But obviously, talked about 2 offensive linemen. That is going to be a focus in this year's draft. Now, something that you want to get is a jersey of the guy that needs to be protected by these offensive linemen. That, of course, is Patrick Mahomes. You can get this jersey for just $79.99. Go to chatsports.com/MahomesRed. The guy just had a baby. His daughter was born. Support the man. Get a jersey. chatsports.com/MahomesRed. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. By the way, congrats to Patrick and Brittany. Their daughter was born just a few days ago. Go get a jersey. All right, a couple more players here. Gregory Rousseau. We'll go to the defensive side of the ball here. The edge rusher out of Miami. Big frame, 6'5", 260 pounds, which we know Steve Spagnuolo likes. Did opt out of the 2020 NFL season to prepare for the draft. A lot of college guys did that with the COVID-19 situation. He was a beast in 2019. Now, I'm very fascinated to see where Rousseau and really all of the guys who opted out of this last college football season end up getting drafted. I do know that Kansas City needs more help on their pass rush. They are middle of the pack in sacks in 2020, and a guy like Rousseau fits what this defense likes in terms of size and ability as well. Look at what he did in 2019. 54 tackles, 19.5 TFLs, tackles for loss there, 15.5 sacks, had a couple of forced fumbles. I wish we could have seen him this year to see if he could have repeated that type of season for Miami, but I still think he's probably a round 1 guy. Does he fall to 31? Maybe. I've kind of seen all over the map when it comes to Gregory Rousseau. I've seen as early as 14 or 15. I've seen second round, so we'll have to wait and see where he ends up going. But at 6'6", 260, I really like the size there for Rousseau. We'll see if Kansas City shows interest in the first round. Now, what's the bigger need on this defense? You think they need more help in their secondary or on their pass rush? If you think it's secondary, type S. If you think it's pass rush, type P. A few years ago, I'd say pass rush, but I actually think secondary is probably a little bit more valuable in today's NFL. So let me know what you guys think, S for secondary or P for pass rush. Now, speaking of the secondary, how about Jaycee Horn? He's rising up draft boards. I don't think he'll be there at 31, but I did want to mention him. Maybe he's a trade-up candidate if they want to move up a few spots. I saw someone today have him as their number 1 corner in this year's draft. I'm not ready to go that far, but I do think he is emerging as like that clear number 3 guy behind Patrick Surtain and also – who am I forgetting, Producer Sam? Caleb Farley, the other kid, Caleb Farley. I think Horn is probably that number 3 guy right now behind Surtain and Farley. Obviously, Bashaud Breeland, Travarius Ward, they're both free agents. And maybe the thought is, hey, let's go young. Get Jaycee Horn, pair him up with L'Jarius Sneed. You could slide Rashad Fenton into the slot, and then there is your 3 cornerbacks. Horn was productive last year in just 7 games, had a couple of picks, 6 pass breakups. I think through 3 seasons, had like 20 pass breakups or something like that. A pretty productive player overall for South Carolina, someone who is quickly rising up draft boards. And if you look at where the Chiefs sit right now, we're all fired up about L'Jarius Sneed and his future. I think he's got a real shot to be a number 1 corner in the National Football League. By the end of the year, I think he was the best corner for Kansas City. We'll see what happens with Breeland. Ward is a restricted free agent, so they have a little bit more control of what happens with him. Maybe you let Breeland walk and you bring back Ward for 1 more year and draft a guy like Horn and groom him for his season. We'll just have to wait and see, but I think cornerback is at least something you have to consider in round 1. I wouldn't put it as the biggest need right now, but it is certainly an area of, I won't say concern, but something to watch out for over the next couple of months. Obviously, free agency happens first. We'll see with Breeland and Ward, but come draft time, if both those guys are gone, don't be shocked if cornerback is the option in the first round. Who do you want the Chiefs to draft in the first round this year? I want to hear it from you guys in the comment section. I think right now I'm leaning offensive line. I'd like to get one of those tackles or Creed Humphrey at the center position, but you know how these things go. It's typically best available. The Chiefs are in a good spot because they have a really good roster. You don't go to 2 straight Super Bowls without it. So let me know. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already at HGramNFL. You can ask me your Chiefs questions there. So get your votes in on this, and we'll see you next time.